Tuesday, February 6th. The McDonald Brown Conference Room is now open. And I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes for January 16th.
So moved.
Stephen.
Steve, can you hear us? Steve, can you hear us? There we go.
Yep,
Okay.
yes, I can hear you.
You want to make the motion
I'll
again?
make the motion to approve the minutes for January 16.
Second,
All in favor?
motion,
Aye.
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 Okay. First one, no new public hearing, so the first one is continued. It's 44 South Main Street.
And I can give an update. They're working on the 53G review documents, and there's a lot to do.
It's a massive
Yeah.
review. Yes.
So they've asked to continue it till the 20th.
Okay, so I'll entertain a motion to continue until
February 20th.
February 20th.
I'll make that motion.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Next
Aye.
next one is 686 Manley Street to continue.
And I can give an update on that. They are not meeting with the planning board until the beginning of March. I believe it's March 6th. So if there's any changes or anything to the plans, they'd have to do them after the 6th. So it made sense to continue till our second meeting of the month.
Great.
And that's why they asked to go till the 19th.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll entertain the motion to continue to February 19th.
I'll make that motion.
second,
How can you?
March 19th.
March 19th, I'm like, oh, C3.
Yep.
March 19th, sorry. Okay, the next one is 40 United Drive.
We didn't do all in favor.
Oh, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I can update 480 United Drive because they are going to be asking for an amended order of conditions on 38. There's going to be considerable changes, so they're working through the engineering for that.
Okay.
So they've asked to go to the 20th.
It's crazy how they're changing that after all that time.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll entertain a motion to continue to February 20th.
I'll make the motion.
second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Arthur,
And then the next one is 363 South Elm Street, enforcement order. And what's that?
Are you here for 363?
Yes,
Okay.
You the owner?
yes.
Okay. All right, so tell us what's going on there.
Well, obviously a big mistake on my part, and I apologize for that, and I couldn't come the last meeting because it was my wife's birthday, so. What I did, I acted in haste, and for that I apologize. My daughter came over with her two little ones, my grandchildren. Obviously, this still wasn't here. This is the mark left by her Jeep, and she came off the side and the Jeep was upright. Now, my 6-month-old grandson at the time, unhurt, he didn't seem to mind that at all. And my 2-year-old granddaughter was in shock and disbelief. And my wife basically forced me to do something I shouldn't have done without getting the permission from this board and Mr. Hay to do so. Now, we've lived in that property close to 3 years, and I knew exactly what I needed to do, and that's just to leave everything alone.
Yeah, let's say, because you've been there since the day it was built.
Correct.
So you knew
Oh, I had it
exactly-
built, I knew that.
You knew
That-
exactly what was going on.
That's why I didn't ever, that's why I would never touch that until I had my, my daughter's Jeep straight up and down, and we got the kids out. Thank God I had 2 brothers that were tow truck operators that lived at a multi-family of mine in Bridgewater, and they came and helped us out.
So how far did you go down here? Is this like, so that?
Yeah, that's the cutoff was right here. And this is, I measured this all out.
That's what it looked like before?
No, this is what it looked like before.
Oh.
Just right to the driveway end, that's it.
If you want, I do have from John's files.
And so she got stuck here? She
You'll
fell off?
see
So
it.
this
Yeah, the Jeep was like this, straight up and down. She went too far, and it was not a good day.
This is from John's as-built, or when he went to do the final inspection. So that's the area where the Jeep backed over the edge. That's further down along the
So
edge.
basically, you just took it out and
Right, and that's going the other way along the edge of the driveway towards the road. And you can kind of see right here where that edge is.
Yep. It's pretty clear.
So
That's afterwards.
what I can do is I have, and this is the area along the edge of the driveway.
Right.
That whole upper part was not touched. Where that excavator is, that was already there, and like, this picture's just recent, and there is still a marker there, just so that we know.
So this wasn't touched, this was just the way it was, or
Correct.
did you do that like that?
Nope. Not touched.
Doesn't, well,
Because,
Because I actually got an extra culvert added
Yeah.
for the
how
driveway.
far up though?
That should be in your records.
Oh, way up.
Yeah, that's at the top of the driveway.
It was like this or that.
That is what it is, we never
Says
touched
this
it.
is right there, hasn't touched.
When was this picture taken?
2 days ago.
No, this one.
2 days ago. This one 2 days ago, that one 2 days ago, that.
Oh, I don't know,
This is the original, I mean, I'm looking at the
Yeah, that's the
picture
one that
John
John
took,
did, yeah.
and I don't see this at all.
I don't see that either.
No. That's been filled based on this picture here.
No, sir, that's down across from my 2 garage doors.
Mm-hmm.
That's the bottom of my driveway, this is the very top of my
So
driveway.
that's farther up by the wood?
This is closest to the street.
Oh, it's closest to the
okay.
street.
Yes.
Oh,
All right,
oh.
okay.
Yeah, so that is correct, that picture is correct.
Yeah, I can't envision it, but.
Well, if you go by it again.
Yeah, you can go by.
See it
Yeah,
there.
you
You guys can walk my property. This
So-
is where I started. I was told when I built the house that there was a old highway, so to speak, you know,
Right.
high road.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So that, from that mound on,
yeah,
okay, and then that's the middle of it. So that's you have the beginning of the street,
yeah,
the top of it, then you have this mound that's up high, off to the left-hand side, and then that's the middle of it. And then you have the very end of it, that's why I did the sequence,
Mhm.
and that's the very end. This part right here, that original picture that you had.
Okay.
Could you just show me,
Oh, sure.
explain
So
everything?
so
this is the top of the street, untouched.
dig it out,
Put it back the way.
yeah.
This
We got
was
trees
the
too
middle,
Yeah, mark
that
it.
will cut down,
Yeah.
the beginning of it, and then this is the middle,
yeah.
and then this is the very end.
Maybe like that,
He could put something in
from right here to there.
here, yeah,
so if you,
With a rail.
on
Wanna
his
re-
property.
this is the as-built,
Yeah.
and the conservation marker and the 50-foot no touch literally was right at the edge of
You
that
can see it
Yeah, right
there.
at the-
wall. The further part closest to the road, there was a little bit more of a buffer. You can see the markers where they were placed along the edge further out. So there was a bigger buffer there to fill the slope. But again, anything that was done within 100 feet required a filing,
Yeah.
which
Right.
you did admit that.
Right.
And because of where the conservation easement is, and the fact that Natural Heritage signed off on it and was part of their decision to allow a no-taking, for endangered species, was the easement, and that there was gonna be no touch. I couldn't really tell how much filling was going into that.
You can't tell,
Well, I probably go out and take some measurements, how far in it went,
Dig down, see what the,
from along the edges, but along the edge of the driveway, we could
Mhm.
probably get a rough idea. But it's,
I mean, there really isn't a lot to talk about that I can see.
yeah, is there something, I mean, so obviously you did something you weren't supposed to do.
Correct.
what I think we suggest on probably doing is to put it back to the original where it was.
That's, my only request would be if I could keep the lower end, so I don't have that same incident again.
For the fall off.
Yeah,
No,
What about could you see about maybe putting something in like a
could put a barrier on your
barrier, like
side of it all the way up.
post
if
with
you
a
want. That would
rail,
stop
so in
anything.
case something happened like that, would prevent that from happening again? Because ultimately, you're not supposed to be in that
Yeah, I
area
mean,
at all,
we've-
and,
All the hearings we've held like this, we haven't wavered from.
yeah, everything had, we.
What do you got?
well, I'll ask you this, what other recourse do I have after tonight?
If you don't do anything?
No, I'm not
Oh.
saying that I'm not gonna do
You
anything, but what
gotta
other
dig
recourse?
it out, and we gotta figure out how many trees were cut,
Right,
and those have to be replaced, not in a different way, but.
And how much, I don't know what was put in there for fill, but everything should be put back in
And then replant it.
and replanted.
yeah, but no fill was taken out, so,
You just,
You
Fill was
added
added,
fill,
that's what
okay.
that's all it was,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
well, that fill's
gotta
gotta
come
come out.
Right.
Yeah, and just replant it back to the way it.
out. Now, would you require a
Could do-
plan? Planting plan, or?
And that's why I asked him to come in, because if
I came up with,
he was looking to, if you guys were gonna entertain a plan to allow the filling to happen, then I would suggest he hires the engineer, does the whole surveying, does the
Right.
applications. But if we're gonna go back to the original easement and the restrictions and whatever was there, the only thing you could do is allow, if you're gonna put posts or railing or a guardrail or a bumper or something up, right on the back side of where that concrete
Yeah.
area was, you could allow that, would
Yeah.
be the only,
Could you put it in the driveway itself, on the edge,
Drill right into where the.
right into the
right on
hot
the
top?
edge. Yeah.
see, I don't know how big that concrete.
yeah,
apron-
those are those big, the blocks are bigger than this table, and they're just as thick.
So they use the big concrete cinder blocks that they use for the retaining walls, typically or,
So you'd put them along the driveway?
my suggestion would be right on the opposite side of that wall, just on the back edge.
I mean, it doesn't have to be anything like
Show me where, Tim, please.
Cause if you look
big.
on,
I
let
mean,
me
just
blow
a-
this plan up so you can, actually, let me also.
So picture it being dug out again down to what it looked like originally, and then along that edge.
you know.
But I don't know how you can work in there.
Well,
It's
that's gonna stay like that because that's been there.
This,
Yeah, this
yes,
whole thing's been there.
that's correct.
So there's,
If we just put it just like
What
right
do you think
there.
in there? Let me see.
Okay.
there's a
I was
little
thinking maybe you
room
do it
right
here.
between where those,
Except that these things are like,
Oh, they go
There's
in,
a
I
huge-
follow you,
yeah,
okay.
it's like.
yeah.
Show me what you're thinking.
So there's a
This
little
has
bit of
all
room
been
if you
filled.
looked to put in like, yeah,
Just-
there's like
just
2-3
enough.
feet
Yeah,
That's been
just enough to
filled.
fit
between
it
where
right
that white marker was and
So.
the concrete edge.
I'm proposing
Just,
that get dug out
kinda like a bumper if you have
Right.
having to bang into it,
and put it back.
you're gonna realize there's something
And
there.
it could be a wooden or steel post and then just a
That was.
2x6 or 2x8 or whatever
Yeah.
fastened to it, so it was.
Oh,
They
okay.
went that way,
So you filled
I mean-
it all in?
yeah.
Being that you were there right when it was being built, you knew what was going on,
Absolutely.
everything that, I couldn't believe it when I was
What
coming
we
home one
usually
day,
do
everything,
is
there was a
just
big
Make it go back
excavator.
to the original.
Guy was putting it on his truck and I'm like, oh my god, he drove by and it's basically the same thing, I'm like, what the heck is going on here?
Understood.
So it's like,
It's unfortunate, but, you know, in this town, it's happening a lot.
We're not
either
trying to say-
on purpose or sort of on purpose.
well, we're just trying to, we keep it, we're
Yeah.
sticking to the way we, do things. Somebody happens to mess up in a way that shouldn't have, and obviously admitted to it, it's gotta be put back. Even if it was accidentally, you know, I didn't know, well, it's still gotta be, it's protected.
Yeah.
I mean, national, was it the heritage
Natural heritage.
is signed off on it, so I mean,
Yeah.
that's a big thing right there, so. If you wanna be able to put something maybe behind the wall there, like if we were saying, would that be something you'd be interested in doing?
Yeah,
I mean, just to
Anything
help
to-
protect anything from backing out of the driveway or out of the garage,
correct.
and then just put everything back the way it was on the, to where it was when it was
Yep.
before it was disturbed. Is that all right?
I had
Well, it is,
these,
but we'd have to see how.
I had
Well,
these,
yeah.
I had these
planting plan would
plantings.
be.
Yeah,
They're good for some sunlight, which some of it's sun, some of it's not. This stuff takes off like wildfire. So once I read into this, I don't know how to say it. Lorope?
Loriope?
Oh, Lorope?
Yeah.
Okay.
Tim's got
But this is
that.
like Lorope. But this is really good. And then the Juga, it's just good for attracting birds and
Mhm.
But it's not back to the,
Those would be the good ground cover. I can come up with a list of tree
Would it
species that
be-
you could
be
pick
all right
from
to-
to put in,
for the
Yeah.
replenished ground cover.
yeah.
How do we deal with the trees?
Again, we have the tree cutting ratio, so I'll kind of try to figure out.
I can't tell how many trees, 1, 2, 3.
Do you have any idea how many
Four.
trees?
How
There
many
weren't-
trees were cut
there weren't that
down?
many. There was all,
There was a number of them that had come down in storms.
they already came down,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
No, I understand that.
Yeah,
So there's-
maybe 2 shrub trees altogether.
Okay, yeah, you can work that over.
I can work
So
that
we have
out.
a-
I'll figure out where
A
the stakes were
planting
measured.
plan for that.
Okay,
I'll go out and put markers in where those stakes were. Do you still have the stakes?
I do.
Yeah, we can just put those back into place.
Okay, at least we can cover those over.
Right. The
You
thing
thought
I
you
would
covered them
need though,
over.
as far as timeline, because I don't know what the weather's gonna
Yeah.
do.
Yeah,
We
no, we
understand that, yeah.
understand. Yeah, we
No,
understand.
it's not like it's gonna be done next week, but.
Alright,
It's winter, still winter.
Yeah, it's not like those things are gonna.
And
start
again,
growing
planning
now.
any of this is not gonna be good until spring
Right.
weather comes,
Mhm.
so.
Just as long as I don't wanna see any,
I mean, if you wanted to
anything
put a
done
May
else.
15th deadline,
Until then.
a May 15th deadline,
Yeah, I mean,
I mean,
Yeah, that's,
well, it's gonna take us a day, so.
right, I mean, it won't take long, it's just weather permitting and
Yeah.
you wanna make sure you can get them. I mean, you could use May 1st, I mean.
and you'll
I
be
would
out
just-
looking at it anyways. so-
Right, it's,
Okay.
And then the one other section further down, that was filled in because it was wider down to that end.
Yep.
What, you're gonna see how it bears off probably like 20 feet. So, just so you
Which
guys.
end is the easement? Through the street or?
Yeah, towards the end of the drive, but this lower end here was already filled in.
That's towards the street then.
No, this is towards the end of the house.
right, towards the back end of the house,
Right.
which,
Apparently it's out of the,
there was an area, yeah, that's pretty much outside of
all
the,
right,
So that was it, just the top wasn't touched, and then the very back of it
all right,
wasn't added to either.
yeah. That's
But that whole middle part, yes.
okay. Well, it's unfortunate.
So
that
if you
happened.
wanna
No, I don't
put,
like-
if you wanna
No, I
come
know,
in
it
and
stinks.
put a barrier up, I think you probably should come back because you're gonna be working within the 50.
But it will only be attached to this concrete, so it won't be, I won't be touching the earth whatsoever.
Oh, all right, if you can
you can,
attach it
I
to the
mean, I was gonna
concrete,
say,
that's
there's enough
fine.
room that, I mean, if you can attach it to the concrete, great, if not, you've got like 3 feet,
I think there's about 3 feet,
Yeah.
So if you had to put a post in the ground,
right.
that,
Right.
I think would be an acceptable.
You're not gonna be putting
Particularly-
telephone poles.
Particularly
No.
up there, yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Are you comfortable with those posts being able to help, keep your grandkids safe?
It'd be better if I could leave some of that fill there, but, you know,
It's like, some people, we tell people, well, beware what you buy, but you knew what you built,
I did,
so.
absolutely,
Yeah, so.
1000%. So
Well,
my
that's-
hat's in my hand, that's, you know, I come here as,
As long as we get it back, you know,
Yeah.
we're fine.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no fines or anything, could be, but
Right.
you're cooperating.
He stopped right away, and
Yeah.
again, we were thinking of an engineer, and we needed to
Unfortunately,
go that
we
route.
have some people that aren't cooperating, so.
I think you're a good grandpa.
I know, it was not a good day.
No.
Hey, thank you for that.
So I guess you touch
I'll
base
work with him and
Tim.
we'll get it figured out.
Okay,
Okay.
All right,
all right, I thank you for your
Thank you for
time.
coming in.
Thank
Yep.
you.
All right.
It is 394 Matfield Street.
They will be coming in with a administrative permit application for stormwater. He's not filling in any further than I already did, and it was more just to create a larger lawn area. That's why the fill came in. And
Which
it's
one is
actually all
this,
pitched onto
Matfield?
his property, so it wasn't draining off anyways, so.
Mhm.
And the town's well heads are behind his property, and he had already had it surveyed and engineered, so he was not touching trees or anything within the buffer zone of the wellhead.
Okay.
So,
Lucky on that.
yeah, he's done everything right except filing for the permit.
Yep.
Mhm.
Okay. Next one is Land Post Estates for a certificate of compliance.
And they have requested a certificate of compliance. I've checked, everything
Is that for the whole thing?
Yeah,
whole
for the
development?
roadways
Oh, for the, okay.
and the
yeah.
drainage system.
Yep.
Everything has been built according to its specs. With all the high water we've had, there's water in them. The area along the edge of the road, the drain that we required has worked, except for the fact they just have to make sure that the owners keep it clean.
Was 394 where we didn't hear from the resident? Where you had sent letters
Yes,
out?
yep, the second letter got the attention,
Oh, good.
so that's
But
what,
So tell me quickly again what.
it's an administrative permit because of the amount of disturbance wasn't over the 15,000 square foot threshold.
Okay,
And so he had done engineering, he
Yeah.
had it surveyed, he just didn't realize he had to apply for the permit.
okay, all right.
Okay, so I'll entertain a motion to issue a certificate of compliance for
I'll
Land
make that.
Post.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, next one is 561 Walnut Street with a
And I
certificate of compliance too.
Give you the report on that one. That's the Angels Gardens that was doing the work around the pond area.
Right,
Yep.
Yep.
Everything's been planted, everything's alive, living, so that has been completed and everything's good to sign off on that.
excellent.
Yes, I'll entertain a motion to order, issue a certificate of compliance.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, and want to just jump to the,
And I will explain the other business that's before you.
okay.
We have some grant opportunities that we can apply for the Pratt's Landing site. I know we wanted to put a pavilion up and some seating and some other added items. And there's two possible grants that we're able to go for. So I'm requesting that you authorize me to pursue plans, permitting, and funding for those projects.
yeah, I'll entertain a motion for agent to continue the pursuit of that.
I'll second it. Or I'll make the motion. I'll make the motion and get a second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Must have another one.
That's excellent, good
And I would
deal.
like to thank you for doing that on our behalf.
That'd
Nope.
be,
That's part of what I'm here for.
that'd be a
Uh,
good thing to do.
The only other thing I want to ask you is anybody thinking of attending the Massachusetts Conservation Commissioners' annual meeting in March? It's March 2nd at Holy Cross. It's a Saturday. It's an all-day event. I'll willing to drive
Yeah.
if anybody wants to
I
go.
doubt if I'll go, yeah, I doubt it.
Yeah, let me know ahead of time, just when it comes up, keep me in.
We can, if you want to go, I can fill out the application, send it in. We can authorize tonight for the payment, and they'll invoice us and we can pay it.
Okay, when is it?
March 2nd,
March 2nd.
the first Saturday in March.
I'm not sure what's going on, I'm
Yeah,
gonna
I-
find out first.
Okay,
We can wait. It's not a
Okay.
big deal,
Yeah.
Okay,
but there's at least two of us
definitely
going.
two, yeah.
okay.
Okay.
And before, well, we'll get stuff to
And-
sign.
Yep, other than that, there's just a couple
But
things to
while we're
sign.
signing, you wanna just kinda like talk a little bit on Crescent Street, even though it's continued, or no? Anybody
I
got?
will just give an update that I did hear from the engineer, and it has been staked for the road layout. So we're gonna be setting up a time to go out and walk, to take a look at the road layout.
So they did stake it, good.
So that has been completed.
Nice, okay, good.
And,
And the next meeting's on the 20th, and hopefully, once we see what the road layout is and changes, we can have more of those addressed.
and anything on the last meeting with the, when did you and Tracy go, or did just Tracy go to the planning board meeting? On that, wasn't supposed to find out some information, maybe, or possibly what's being
It's kind of
waived, what
unclear. I
not
watched
waived,
it
or what's
on-
going on?
Yeah, everything basically is on hold until the 53G review, once they get the questions answered.
But the
back.
requests that we had, remember about, was it trees and what was the other one? Oh, the putting aside,
The open
1
space
acre.
part,
Open space part.
one, the planning board can, but we have to pay for it. The town has to pay for the land that the developer wouldn't put into houses. So,
oh, I didn't know that. Is that a?
right,
Really?
because Tracy looked into it, it'd be a land taking, so you'd just be taking it right from them, and you have to compensate them for it. They can do it as a homeowners association if the homeowners association requires it. And that's where they were talking about at the end of it, there may be, depending on where it
But
goes.
that's not part of the planning board's regulations?
It's
or-
not a regulation that they have to.
So when a builder comes in like that and they wanna do a job, and if we said part of the arrangement's gonna be that you donate a piece of land, can you do that or is that illegal?
That's illegal. You could say you can compensate them for it.
But
Could you
can't-
say,
and-
we give them $1 for it?
Right. Well, I mean, depending if they wanted to. If it's a big enough project, most of them will be willing to put open space into it.
And I don't,
Well,
But if
is
the
it,
town wanted to put a park or a recreation spot there or something, the planning board could exercise to say we would require it. And they couldn't say no.
they still could or is it too late?
They still could. It's not too late.
so if.
But
they-
you'd have
so
to
if they
compensate
s-
them for that.
Oh,
as
so
part
even
of
if
it.
they say
Right.
to do it, we still have to
We
compensate it?
still have to compensate it.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
Anything
But
on
it's a
the,
way to, if it was a 350 unit, say, development, you might want to say, yes, we're going to pay for 1 acre of land to be set aside
Interesting.
for that size project,
Hmm.
and come up with a fee for that acre of land.
Unless we had a bylaw. Or,
Well, that's the
well,
thing, I thought
still a
that-
violation, I suppose.
Yeah. So
All right.
anything on the, possibly, easement for the conservation or the? like a
Yeah, we're going to
trail?
work through that. They've got
Work
all
through
the easements along the back anyways, so we just have to get the verbiage and the wording,
For the
which will be part
connection.
of the.
Anything about the,
The lot
Detention areas.
sizes, we still haven't heard back yet on
still
that.
haven't heard back on that then, okay.
Yeah, I think what I heard said by the engineer was that we're calculating it wrong. Am I right?
Right,
He-
there's 3 of them that are in question still,
And
that we
he's,
haven't figured out how,
On what, the lot sizes or the detention?
on whether they're actually a buildable lot size.
Oh, really?
And it's, depending on the calculations, we figured all the other ones out, but there's still 3 that our math doesn't match theirs, and we're just waiting to see how it all,
okay.
And that's up in the big section?
and then we're waiting to figure out on the riverfront, whether that's decided, whether Mill Pond is actually part of
River,
West Meadow Brook. And
Oh, yeah.
That'd be good to find out if that's a,
And that, it probably won't have a huge effect on the lots individually, it'll have effect possibly on some of the drainage structures,
Okay,
which may have to be reconfigured a little bit or moved,
all right.
to adjust for it.
We're getting there.
It's moving.
they did get a staked
What's-
out then. Anybody get?
Did you have
say?
any
Yeah.
questions?
Since you're here.
I mean, has anybody walked it since we got all this rain?
We're going to.
Last couple of weeks?
I haven't been out in the last 3 weeks, I was out before that. And,
I mean, after the last planning, the very first planning board meeting, I went and walked it and took pictures. I don't know how they're building there. I really don't. The amount of water that was there,
Phil,
and we just.
They've gotta go a long ways back to
I walked a long ways back.
get to where the,
Oh, yeah.
area that they
I was
plan
out
to
where
work.
they perked, I seen where they perked it
Yeah.
all. And in order to get there, it's gonna take an act of Congress. I mean, it just,
as long as the, their drainage plan accounts for,
and I mean, I was at the planning board meeting.
Yeah.
It sounds like they're just giving them every waiver that they want. There's like no pushback on any of the waivers.
did they actually grant them or?
It was just discussion
Discussion, yeah.
on the next meeting that whether or not they were gonna, grant certain waivers
Right,
or not.
Yeah.
So
I
they
mean,
haven't done any of that stuff.
No,
then, okay.
I mean, they're trying to get around, drainage being down 3 feet, they're trying to get it cut to like a foot, foot and a half. And instead of use reinforced concrete, they're trying to use ADS. And it just, I think it was Noise. Noise is like, no, you can't use ADS that low. You have to have more coverage on ADS than you do reinforced concrete. And the engineer's like, oh, we'd have to redraw our entire plans if you made us use reinforced concrete. And the board's like, all right, well, basically, yeah, no, we won't make you do that. It
Well,
just,
what's the
it's-
reason for doing it? You know, that you can't use the other kind.
the ADS is a lot cheaper than the reinforced concrete.
Will it work or not work?
It will if you go down deep enough,
Yeah.
but they're trying to avoid having to do that.
So if they don't, what happens?
Then they have to use reinforced concrete.
You know, so
The problem is if they don't have enough
Either
coverage
one
on
will
top
work.
of either one, you end up with heaving and frosting,
Exactly.
which, if this is gonna become a town road, you wanna make sure you have enough coverage so that the town isn't having to go in and fix all these frost heaves and humps and everything, because the drainage structures are all coming up.
Are we talking just the drainage structures or
Yeah.
foundations?
Drainage.
So that's why
Yeah.
Jim was suggesting, to make sure there's enough coverage, he wanted to have it high enough. And that's where they were having the debate
Right.
about how high and where it needs to go, and if they use concrete versus.
That's a good point. Yeah.
well, so the people should be there to throw those questions out and make
Yeah.
sure that they're understanding that residents know what's going on,
Oh, yeah.
so it's
Yeah.
good.
I'll be at every meeting holding their feet to the fire, that's for sure.
It's good.
It's right across from me.
Should be doing,
Yeah.
yeah.
Can you
Alright.
send those pictures to us, or
Yeah,
you
yeah,
said you?
I could.
Yeah, if you wanna share them, we'll add them to the file.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
All right, anybody?
Do you have the
else
dates
anything?
that they were taken?
Yeah, they're on my phone,
Okay.
so the dates are on them.
That's it, all right.
I didn't have anything else.
Okay, so I guess I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second,
All in favor?
aye.
We're done.
Thanks, Steve.
Very good.